These are in listen-only mode.
Good evening, everybody. This is Kim Klima, Director of Volunteer Support and Services for the Girl Scouts of Northeast Ohio, and I'm here with Barbie Anzalone.
Good evening, everyone.
And we're going to go ahead and get started. I do see that folks are calling in all across the council here, so we were just giving everyone a few extra minutes. But we do want to go ahead and get started so that we can honor your time, because we know that your time is very valuable, and we want to make sure that we let you off the hook as promised when promised. So a couple of things I do want to say about our webinar technology. This may or may not be the very first webinar that you've done with GSNEO. So I just wanted to point out that you should have a menu on the right side of your screen where you can see the other attendees on the call, so you know who's joining us. You should also be able to see a place where you can enter your questions, and feel free to do that throughout the night. We will, or at least throughout the next hour, not to scare anybody, we will answer your questions and comments as quickly as possible. But when you do enter a comment in the question log, it is saved for us. So if by any chance we're not able to go back to respond to that before the end of the call, we'll make sure to follow up with you after. Additionally, there is a hand raising icon. It's a blue circle with a yellow hand inside. When you press that, it raises your virtual hand, which would allow us to unmute your line so that you can join the conversation live. So we hope that you do choose to do that. It always makes it more interesting. That being said, we are recording the conversation, so if you are unable, if anyone was unable to join us for the evening, or if at any point you want to go back and re-listen to this webinar, you are able to do that. So again, just a quick welcome and good evening to everybody. Kind of go over the agenda for you real quick. So we'll be talking about the service unit team roles. Also, we'll take a closer look at the service unit organizer position. That's what this call is about. We'll discuss resources, launching a troop, best practices of organizing troops, and then, of course, questions and comments. So as you can see, we have a very full hour planned for you. In order for us to get started on the best foot, we thought it would make sense to kind of start with what is a service team. And so a service team provides the primary services needed in a service unit. The team is usually composed of a director, registrar, recruiter, and an organizer. The service team works together under the direction of the service unit director to make sure the unit is growing strong. They work together to set goals and help carry out the plans for reaching those goals. The service team can earn the President's Award by working together and reaching their goals, which is also a very exciting proposition. The service team is supported primarily by the Community Membership Executive, affectionately known as the CME, and learning and support opportunities for these four primary positions is being developed to help volunteers carry out these important roles successfully. Being a part of a service team should be rewarding and engaging. It's through the work of these teams, in partnership with the staff, that the Girl Scout community grows and thrives. Some service units add additional support roles, and many have vacancies on the team. So working together in the community to strategize how best to build this team is very important. It's also important to see building a strong, to understand that building a strong and functional service team is ongoing work. There are also roles like Service Unit Product Sales Manager and Service Unit Finance Volunteers, which are very important. But for now, let's take a moment to review the four primary roles. We'll start with Service Unit Director. Like a conductor of an orchestra, the Service Unit Director is a leader of leaders in the community. The Service Unit Director has a very important job. The Service Unit Director is the head operational volunteer in the unit. She works in partnership with the staff to set goals and implementation plans. She provides direction, oversight, support, and leadership, facilitates communication and teamwork, helps to proactively resolve conflict, and creates a welcoming atmosphere. Good leaders are always deliberately seeking great leaders. Great leaders are inspirational, provide vision, set a good example, and are people of integrity. Leaders build leaders. Next, I'd like to take just a moment to review the service unit recruiter position. We refer to recruiters as lead generators. The service unit recruiter is a member of the local service team and helps to generate new interest in joining Girl Scouting in the local community. This individual is important to the growth and development of the Girl Scout community. They help to generate new interest for both girls and adults, analyze the demographics in the community to assist the service unit director and team with goal setting, and help to build community relationships. Next is our service unit organizer. This is what we're going to spend a lot more time talking about tonight. And the service unit organizers can affectionately be referred to as the architects or the builders. The service unit organizer is a member of the local service team and is responsible for organizing and establishing new troops in the community. They should work with the community to secure meeting places, to set up new troop meeting locations prior to recruitment season, and work with the service unit recruiter to fill the troops. She works with the service team in the local community to ensure that the Girl Scout program is available and accessible for all interested girls and adults. They help the service unit director to provide a welcoming atmosphere, help the troops get started by organizing the troop meetings, dates, times, and locations, facilitating parent meetings, and of course help with ongoing support of volunteers in their role. And lastly, just a quick overview is the service unit registrar. These are the membership people. I refer almost like the census. The service unit registrar is a member of the community team and helps with ensuring all members are registered with GSNEO, as well as encourages troops in the community to receive new girl members and publish the troop vacancies. This individual is also very important to the growth and development of Girl Scouting in the local community. They maintain the service unit membership records, maintain confidentiality, which is very important, understand the online registration process and help others through that process, encourages early renewal participation, helps to educate and support leaders with the registration and the renewal process, and also helps to reconcile monthly membership reports. So as you can see, this team is very critical to the success and ongoing continuation of the Girl Scout movement. And I'd like to just take a moment to thank all of you who serve in these roles or have served in these roles, whether you're new or you've been serving in these roles for a long, long time. It's because of people like you that we're able to provide Girl Scouting for girls. And I just wanted to make sure that you understand that we appreciate you and we thank you very much. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Barb, and she's going to go ahead and walk us through the service unit troop organizer position.
Thanks, Kim. Good evening, everybody. This evening, we're going to talk about the architect of our service unit and the service unit troop organizer. As you know, some service units are too small or may not have enough volunteers to have each position. So sometimes the position of the service unit troop recruiter and service unit troop organizer may be performed by one person. However, if you have a strong service unit and are fortunate to have one person perform the duties and responsibilities of the organizer, that's fantastic. The CME and the service unit team may even decide that one service unit troop organizer is not enough. Your service unit may be large, have numerous schools, and choose to have people share the responsibilities of the position. So as Kim was discussing, what is an architect? An architect is a person who plans, designs, and oversees the construction of buildings. To practice architecture means to provide services in connection with the design and construction of buildings and the space within the site surrounding the buildings that have as their principal purpose human occupancy or use. So, what does that, we're going to take a few minutes, we're going to go over the position description and discuss the responsibilities, expectations, and some core competencies of this position. In Girl Scout theory, an architect would be the person who, with the help of the CME and SUD, plans, designs, and oversees the construction of troops, new and existing. To practice this theory would mean to provide support and services by connecting and engaging families to troops, and troops to the service unit, and the service unit to the community. This is done in conjunction, as I said earlier, with the CME and the service unit team by building strong relationships and creating a welcoming atmosphere for new girls and adult members. So your responsibilities and duties and expectations of this position include working with the CME and the service unit team to develop the necessary troops. The service unit troop organizer will organize troop meeting dates, times, locations within the community, and secure them for a new troop startup based on analysis and community demographics. Develop and sustain a positive rapport with all the troops in the service unit, helping volunteers to understand their roles and the next steps in their Girl Scouting journey. Partnering in the facilitation of Welcome to the Service Unit orientation. This is a foundational piece in building relationships. We know that many of our SUDs enjoy facilitating the orientation so that they also meet the new volunteers. But this is also an excellent opportunity for the organizer to be introduced to our new members. So hopefully you'll develop that partnership. Facilitating parent meetings with new troops to fill volunteer roles in collaboration with the service unit recruiter and older girls, and assisting in the launching of the troops onto success. And facilitate the successful handoff of new volunteers to the rest of the service unit team. Again, helping volunteers to feel welcome, supported, and included is the main focus of the position.
Sounds like a really important position.
It's a huge position, and it takes a lot of soft skills, and so many of our volunteers have these.
Absolutely. Great. So should we move on to talking?
Move on
okay.
to
Qualifications.
So the qualifications and core competencies of the organizer. So what type of skill set are we looking for in this volunteer? Because the service unit team organizer is an integral part of the service unit and is building relationships and connecting people, they should obviously have a passion for Girl Scouting and its mission, which we know you already do.
Yay.
Yay! The service unit troop organizer should be able to be comfortable speaking in public and networking within the community to make others feel at ease and welcomed, girls, adults, and families alike. Strong organizational skills are always a plus, as are strong communication skills. And the familiarity with or an understanding of and a willingness to learn about your community. So the resources are many, as you can see, and these are probably just a few. There are probably more.
Mm-hmm.
So there are many resources available to the organizer. For one, you'll find that your CME and your service unit team are great resources. always willing and available to help you in this position. They are your biggest supporters. The Flipbook was developed recently as a tool for recruiting volunteers and engaging families at parent meetings. This handy tool will give you the script to help you introduce and promote the exciting Girl Scouting opportunity that awaits not only for their daughters, but to family members as well. Some of you are probably already familiar with the Quick Start for Troop volunteers. We know what's special about troops. We know that they offer girls the power and joy of teaming up, trying new things, creating their own adventures, all while making the world a better place. The Quick Start is based on 100 years of organizing troops to create a high-quality and fun-filled experience for girls. And Kim is showing the Quick Start for Troops right now. You should be seeing it on your screen.
Try to get it up in English.
In English. It's also available in Spanish.
Right.
So this is a wonderful tool that just clicking on Daisy, Brownie, or Junior will take you through the 10 essential elements and offer suggestions and ways to plan the journey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a really great, and all these things here are links. So you come here through the Girl Scouts. This is the national webpage, girlscouts.org. And then you can just even put right here quick links. And you have those for juniors, daisies, and so forth. There's 10 elements, and all 10 are links. So if you want to talk about how can you make sure that families in this troop understand what's going on, you can click on Welcome to Families and see Meet the Flower Friends, the Daisy Flower Garden, Between Earth and Sky, 3 Cheers for Animals. We know those are the 3 journeys in the Daisy arena. And so, like, let's say the troop is starting with the Welcome to the Daisy Flower Garden journey. So there's a welcome letter here that troop leaders can then give to the parents so that they understand what that journey is about. So this is just one resource, and we'll talk more about it later.
So another resource, brand new, is the Volunteer Toolkit. This simple-to-use digital tool is a phenomenal resource for leading a K-5 troop. Based on troop leader feedback, GSUSA rolled everything you need into an online organizational planning and curriculum tool that's specifically designed to help you communicate and stay organized. If you've not checked it out yet, please go to the GSNEO website under My Girl Scout and check it out. You are going to be amazed. I think Kim's going to pull it up here. When we first saw this, those of us that were troop leaders years ago were just like ready to sign up again.
So under the Volunteer Toolkit, there's all kinds of functionality. An additional functionality is coming soon, like the ability to manage your troop information and send emails to troop members. You'll also have the ability to upload your troop photo. You eventually will also be able to manage your finances here and to share with council personnel and troop parents about your finances. There are resources that are already available. You can see here that the safety activity checkpoints are linked right here. In addition, there's other safety and travel resources, as well as resources for the troop leadership and volunteer aids, meeting overviews, and so forth. So managing troop money is a really great resource. Additionally, you will be able to map out your year plan. You can choose from a couple of the different journeys in a badge year, and then additional and the third journey will be added to the toolkit soon. So everything isn't in here already, but they've built a lot of the functionality in already. And you can see that tonight this troop would be meeting on April 14th today at 6:30 p.m. And they're going to be working on their Gloria pedal and Jerry pedal. So they're learning, these daisies tonight are learning about respect for myself and others, and also about respect for authority. And they're going to earn their purple and pink petals. And so this will give you the meeting overview, how to plan, the connection to the awards, and then also the meeting length, which can all be customized based on what the girls want to do and any changes that the girls make or the troop leaders make. It also explains as girls arrive, there's a 10-minute get started activity, and then you have your opening ceremony, which you should allow for 20 minutes. And it tells you which materials you'll need for that opening ceremony and the steps in the opening ceremony, even what to say. And then it comes down to activity 3, which is snack time and manners game. And again, all of this is customizable. You can change things. You don't have to do it exactly this way. You can see right here. Let's say that I don't want to spend 20 minutes on my opening ceremony. Then I can click on my opening ceremony. I can adjust the time, make it more or less. I can also delete this agenda item and so forth. So it's just there to help leaders plan, not to dictate how the troop will run. And again, there's a lot of information here. Tonight, our purpose is just to share some of the resources available to troop organizers and helping troop leaders have a successful experience.
Exactly. So another resource is through the new Salesforce system, which is loaded with reports, filled with information that in the past we've not always been able to access and provide for our service unit teams. The troop organizer will be getting reports to assist them in their position. We do ask your patience, though. With so many reports, we're still in the process of determining which report will be most helpful to you in successfully performing the job of the troop organizer. And Kim is bringing up the myriad of reports that we have access to at this point with the new system. And we had discussed that the possibility of providing
some of these, yeah.
Some of these, and we really want to look at what will be most beneficial to the troop organizer as you're looking at how to plan
to do the job well.
To do the job
yeah.
well. So one of them is the catalog opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
There's a catalog opportunity report that will, we believe, offer troop organizers a way to view
right.
where the vacancies are in their service units and how they can best
right.
help their volunteers.
So this is just a quick glance at the Girl Opportunity Catalog by service unit. And one of the things that we can see here by service unit are all the troops that are displayed in the catalog. It also explains the information about those troops that are displayed. So you can see in Service Unit 501, we have a couple kindergarten and first grade troops starting up. They have room for 12 girls and currently have none assigned. And it shows you kind of where these meetings are being held, are planning to be held as well. You'll notice that in the meeting location, this is what the customer sees. It doesn't give an exact address, but it does give the vicinity of the meeting so that, you know, we're trying to help make sure parents don't just drop their kids off at a location without contacting the troop leader first. But this is just one report. I mean, there's several reports, and you may be excited to hear more about these things. As you can see, there are a lot of different folders full of reports. These reports that you see here are all in the GSUSA membership folder. And then there's other reports. So there's so many different things for us to look at. We are just now beginning to scratch the surface. Like we have to figure out what these reports tell us and which reports we think that you would need, and based on what you tell us that you would like to see and have and be able to find those reports. If we're not able to find a report, we can customize a report. We don't know how to do that yet, but we are learning. We have a feeling that that opportunity catalog report will be helpful for an organizer, probably also for recruiters. But also, here's a report in Troop Without Enough Leaders. So which girls are in troops without enough leaders to get started? That's probably going to be a really important report. What you're looking at here, the screen that you see, is really a sneak peek into my login. You can see that it's logged in as me. This is what the council staff can see. So this isn't something that you can just pull up on your own. But I'm showing you this backdoor view because I just wanted to give you an idea of all the different tools and resources that are now available to us through this new system. It's very, very robust, but it is going to take us a little bit of time to explore this and figure it out. So.
Okay, great. Other resources are surveys, such as the 3090 day new volunteer survey and the annual volunteer survey, and which are processes that we have implemented to make sure that GSNEO is moving in the right direction. It's about volunteers relaying good stories and, you know, sometimes the not so good stories that help us all to move forward. And these are surveys that are going out to our brand new members, and they're letting us know what kind of job we're doing. And what we've learned recently in the last, in the last 6 months has been that new volunteers are being supported by people in their service units. And that is awesome news, because that means that our service units and their service unit teams are doing their jobs.
Yeah.
And with more support, they'll be doing them better.
Yeah, so I think that, you know, just knowing that we are doing some surveys to help gauge the success and to help gauge the satisfaction of our new volunteers. Basically saying, you know, you're a brand new volunteer, how hard or easy was it to become a new volunteer with the Girl Scouts? And then 90 days later asking them again, how you doing, you know? And our hope is that the volunteers will say, boy, this was super easy to get involved. And then 90 days later say, I got this. I feel totally supported. And so I know that we all want that. And, you know, first of all, we need to see where we're at, where we're starting, and then provide, you know, a game plan for helping new volunteers truly feel that way. So the initial results that we have seen help pave the way for the work that needs to be done, and we are excited about the new system because we know that it provides the functionality to solve some of the problems that we've experienced. And it is going to take all of us working together, which is why we wanted to get started with just this communication meeting and getting on the same page with all these different positions and so forth. So, and your input is invaluable. You know, we welcome that and need that. So.
Exactly. The service unit team rally, which I hope you are all registering for and signed up for, and will be on May 2nd. And it's going to be, in the past, we've invited the service unit directors, and this year we feel that it's important that our full service unit teams come together so that we can do some strategizing and some learning and have some fellowship time together. So Kim has put the registration site up on the screen. Thank you. And so if you haven't registered yet, please do so. It does close on April 27th. And the maps are there, everything, all the information is there. ALE workshops. We're going to have some service unit team workshops at ALE this summer, and they are not listed in the ALE brochure, which is electronically. It's online and it's ready to go because registration opens tomorrow.
Yeah.
So, but we will be having some special service unit team workshops, and you'll be getting more information. My hope is it'll be emailed to you in late May, early June. We are putting that together. We just weren't quite sure where we might be in the new system, and so that's why it didn't make the print in the ALE book. But
so specifically, I mean, the book is online for all these many wonderful classes facilitated by volunteers and staff working together as well, but also know that, like Barb said, there's some things that aren't in the book that are going to happen, and that's probably very interesting for you because that will pertain to service team positions, some roundtable discussions and stuff. So what do you have to do now? Just, mark your calendar for these, to take a look and plan on joining us at ALE. And as soon as we get the dates and stuff out, we will get those out to you as soon as possible. Most definitely we'll have that information by the rally.
by the rally,
Yeah.
we should. Yeah.
Which is May 2nd, reminder.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll be able to really plot out your strategy for being there, right? And we hope that we're all there together. So.
Exactly. And then the last couple of resources, we are looking at developing a troop organizer handbook and toolkit. So right now we have these are some resources that are in the design phase. So any feedback would be welcomed and appreciated. Yeah, don't look for this at the service unit rally, but
with a little luck,
with some luck, and you'll have it at the service unit team workshops at ALE in preparation of fall recruitment. So, but if you have any feedback on that, we're very open to hearing from you. Perhaps you've had this position in your service unit for a long time, and you may have this down, and your feedback can help us promote it for service units that haven't been using this position. Okay. So, and then lastly are webinars. We've been having the service unit team webinar called monthly, and so we want to know if that's been sufficient, and if you think that maybe we need to implement a troop organizer webinar perhaps every 6 weeks. So keep that in your mind, and as we approach the service unit team rally and the workshops at ALE, keep these sort of things in mind of what you'd like to see happen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Again, feedback is important. So launching a troop, this is going to be a huge job for the troop organizer position. So we're just going to go into it briefly. A troop is ready to launch when it has a combination of any 2 direct primary volunteers. Our direct primary volunteers include a troop leader, a troop administrator, and a troop program guide. So again, any combination of those 3 positions, we have to have 2, so for a troop to be ready to go. Okay.
So just let me make sure that I understand that or re-clarify it for folks. Every troop has to have a minimum of 2 volunteers serving in a direct primary role. There are 3 volunteer jobs that we consider direct primary roles. So one of them is called the troop leader, One of them is called the Troop Administrator, and one of them is called the Troop Program Guide. So any combination of those three,
Any combination. Yes.
but we have to have 2 people in them in order to make a troop run, right? Otherwise,
right.
they'll come out on that report that says not enough people.
Not enough volunteers.
Yeah. And then we got to work with that group of parents to get somebody or to get 2 somebodies into one of those 3 direct primary roles. So.
Exactly. So some troops in the troop catalog may be ready to launch and get started immediately, while others are still waiting for volunteers to say, yes, I can. Some troops will have plenty of help. Other troops will need assistance in engaging and identifying family members who can help. And that will be up to the service unit troop organizer to assist in that process. After working closely with the CME and the service unit team, the troop organizer helps to assist the direct primaries to plan the parents' meeting or will assist the service unit recruiter in leading the parents' meeting. Throughout this time, the service unit troop organizer will support and guide the direct primaries to view Girl Scouting 101, Welcome to the Service Unit, and other available training. Don't forget, this is a great time to review the volunteer toolkit and the events calendar on the website.
Absolutely. So, great.
So best practices. First of all, how many organizers are right for the service unit? Well, depending on the size of the service unit, the CME and the service unit team will decide what's best. Perhaps it's a large service unit. You have quite a few elementary schools. Maybe you want a service unit troop organizer at every school.
Right. I know a lot of service units do have multiple service unit organizer positions because, like we've talked about, it's a really big job.
Big job.
So if you have, a decent sized Girl Scout community, I would say anything around 20 troops or more, it's definitely room for more than one organizer.
And at that point, when you have more organizers, you may want to have sort of the chair of that organizer committee. So there's communication going everywhere.
Right. Yeah. Some help to organize the organizers.
Sure. So also monthly or at least quarterly service unit team meetings are important. This is where many of you get together and communicate needs and opportunities. So a very important part of the calendar year. Connecting volunteers to various training resources. As we mentioned earlier, Girl Scouting 101, learning opportunities that are located on the events calendar of the website, ALE and Leadership and Learning Conference. We have a lot of learning opportunities to assist in supporting our volunteers. And again, offering feedback. We want to hear from you. You're out in the field, you're doing the jobs, your input is important. So what are some of the best practices of the service unit troop organizer that you're already implementing in your service unit? Maybe you have a few now that you'd like to share, or maybe it's something you'll think about in the next couple of weeks and bring to the service unit team rally.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'd love to hear from you.
So again, in order to do that and be able to share some best practices, things that how your service unit works, how do the service unit organizers function in the service unit that you live in? What are some of the things that have worked really well for you to help get troops started? Just this would be a great time. If you want to share that, just raise your hand and we'll unmute your line. Or you could enter some ideas or feedback in the question log. Don't forget. And as we look at the attendees list right now. I don't see any hands raised. So I do want to just encourage you. I know it could be scary to raise your hand.
Are they still there?
Are you guys there?
We scared them off.
No.
Not Girl Scout volunteers.
No way, Jose. So, but I do see a lot of really great leaders on our call tonight. So anything you want to add to the call this evening? And that goes for our staff team too, because I do see a lot of our service unit community membership executives are on the line with us, as well as one of our leadership team here is Gina Gerhardt. She's our lead generation specialist. You know, she's out there recruiting in the field, helping to bring in new business to the community. So she's also here as a great resource for us today. And Gina, if there's anything that you want to add, feel free to do that too.
Hi guys, I think you guys really covered everything. Good.
Yay! Thanks for talking to us, Gina.
What?
I said thanks for talking to you. Thank you for talking
no
to us.
problem.
We were feeling kind of lonely.
Hello, webinar world.
Webinar world. Nice. All right. Well, again, like Barb said, feel free, you know,
Jeanette,
start thinking about those things and bring them with you to the service unit rally.
Jeanette.
Okay, Jeanette, I'm going to unmute your line. You're unmuted. So what would you like to contribute to our call tonight?
Hello, everybody. I guess I would like to hear how the other service units, well, I guess when they meet. I know right now I meet with my leaders once a month, Saturday morning, 9:30 to 10:30. And I have one leader who's come to one meeting all year. I guess I need more ideas on how to encourage them to let them know the importance of coming to these meetings.
Mm-hmm.
I've tried to be real positive, but you know, they'll write back and say, "Tell me what I missed," and I'm thinking, well, you know, you need to be there. So I'd like to know what other units do, and this has been helpful. There's a couple things you ladies have said today that I wasn't aware of for resources. But let's see, there was something else. I forget what it was. But anyway, I just wondered if there was anybody out there that could give me some ideas on that. I actually wear all 4 hats right now, but
Oh boy.
Wow.
That's a lot.
That's a lot, Jeanette, and we're very grateful for all you do.
well, we're small, but we're growing fast. So
That's awesome.
I'll learn.
So what Jeanette is asking is for input from our callers, you know, our team tonight, everyone on the line. Her specific question is, what good advice might you have for her in methods for getting folks to participate at the service unit level, show up for those leader meetings and you know, be present. And so what are some of the ideas and things that you guys have done in your unit to help encourage that level of participation? Any thoughts or ideas out there? We're looking for comments or hands raised, Jeanette. I'm not really seeing any yet, and that's unfortunate because I know we have a lot of really great people on the line with us this evening. But the one thing I will...
Can I say something?
Yeah, please do. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Jeanette. This is Gina. You said that your service unit is really growing fast, and the suggestion I have is to possibly, I hate to use the word new blood, to really get to know and engage the new leaders, new volunteers that are coming in, and to not only welcome them, but really kind of teach them early on of the different opportunities of becoming involved, not only on the troop level, but also in the service unit level. So as they get more acclimated to the volunteer, I guess, not lifestyle, but the volunteer experience, then they would be more apt to possibly spend some time helping you as the recruiter, organizer, registrar, different positions like that. So that's what my suggestion, and formerly why I was a CME, so that's really what I talked with my service unit directors and other volunteers who felt like they were involved in every aspect of the team and didn't really have that much support, is really to feed off the new energy coming in.
You know, one of the things, this is Barb, one of the things that I would offer from my experiences when I was a SUD eons ago, tip shops or some type of training that you can offer to your leaders, especially the new leaders. They're anxious to learn, so it could be something as simple as, you know, having a bit of a swap meet one night or at one meeting, or, you know, discussing something regarding leadership skills at another meeting. But, you know, something that might be 20 to 30 minutes in length. At one point on the SUD portal, there were some tip shops available, and
Yeah.
we can look into that.
They're like little mini trainings or
trainings.
workshops. Yeah. You know, one of the things that I would say too, and I think that's really good advice, Barb and Gina, one of the things that I would recommend from an organizer's perspective, if you are the person in your community that does the new leader orientation, to make sure that when you do orient a new volunteer, that you explain to them the purpose and expectations around the leader meeting, and also making sure that they are going to feel welcomed and connected, because it could be a little bit scary showing up for one of those meetings for your first time. We know there's a lot of jargon. Maybe you don't know the other moms or leaders. And so just saying, you know, I'd like to make sure that I meet you at the door when you arrive, you know, so I'll let you know when the first meeting is coming up, and then I'll plan to greet you right at the door so I can show you where everything is and the ropes, you know.
And if it's not the troop organizer doing that, perhaps assigning another leader to help with that role, where they can take the new person around and introduce them to the established troop leaders.
Yeah. So, so great advice, and I know there's a whole lot of really great advice and tips and things like that happen out there. I do think that the leader meetings are very important, but I also want to caution that we also keep in mind that not every adult, not every volunteer is going to find the time or see the value in a monthly meeting. And so what are some of the other ways that we engage people and stay connected?
And I think that's a good time, Kim, to engage family members.
Yeah.
And when the troop organizer is assisting with pulling the volunteers together in our secondary positions, maybe there's somebody who can go ahead and go to those meetings and take notes and bring it back to the troop leaders.
Right, like suggest maybe a rotation of parents that sign up for the meetings to represent the troop, so that it's not all on one person. Yeah, really good thinking. All right, well, fantastic. What other advice or questions might folks have tonight? Any other input or feedback? Oh, Jeanette, go ahead. Are you still with us, Jeanette?
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, thank you very much. Yes, I have invited the co-leaders. If the leaders don't come, I've used coffee and donuts to entice, or well, maybe not donuts, but...
Works, right?
I like the idea of the swap meet time, only it could be, rather than swaps, and they seem to like this. I try to use the last 15-20 minutes of our meeting to share their good ideas and maybe their concerns. And I also try to have the meetings only last the hour that I say that it will. Some of them do have to bring their little ones. I have a basement with toys and things, so that works out okay for an hour.
Those are
So,
great ideas too. You know, make sure that the kids, there's something there for the little ones, and that you respect the meeting times. Those are really good
yeah.
tips. Yes.
Yeah, I have about 80% of them that come. I just have one or two sticklers that just don't seem to want to come. But, you know, maybe if they hear from the others what we're doing over time, it'll happen.
Absolutely. And, you know, 80% is really fantastic. So you're doing something right. Yep, absolutely. Awesome. Okay. Well, I know we have maybe time for one other question, Barb, possibly. So we have, it says from Kim, she was wondering about recruitment. And so I know that you mentioned here that we do have some supports coming up for our recruiters, and we will be talking more about that strategic recruitment, especially for service team recruitment too. I know Gina is, it's in her heart to make sure that tools are created and provided at the service unit level to reach out to new volunteers to help provide leadership at the service team level. So that's probably something that we can talk about and look forward to over the coming months or the rest of this program year. I don't know, Gina, if there was anything that you wanted to add to that.
Service unit team rally. We're going to have something.
There you go. Come to the service unit team rally. We're going to talk all about it.
And here they're looking at a recruiter toolbox and a recruiter
Recruitment kit.
Organizer. So.
Awesome. So that's a little nugget to urge you on.
Yes.
Okay. So that's fantastic. I know that over the last couple of years, we really haven't done a whole lot of supporter training for these roles, and that's definitely something that we want to change.
Certainly.
And like Barb said, we need input and feedback. You know, we don't want to just make this up over in a little silo off by ourselves. We think that really all of us together are better than anyone.
And with that, we not only is feedback important, but, you know, we're looking for those strong volunteers who are interested in helping us get that off the ground. So working with some staff members to help put these workshops into place.
Awesome. That's
And
great.
if you're interested, just email me.
And that email, so it's Barb Anzalone. So, you know, figure that out now.
Anzalone at GSNEO.
Maybe I can actually, let's see, try to put that up on your screen for you really quick. I know Barb asked a question a little bit earlier with regard to the service team webinar, service team webinars that have been happening, you know, and I guess our question is, are you participating? Have you participated in those? And, you know, have you found them to be helpful? Do you think that, you know, we should continue having a service team webinar for everybody in the unit together? Or do you think that, you know, maybe you weren't aware of those, or maybe you need the invite, or what? So I do have just a quick poll, and I guess this will help us know if people are still on the line. So I'm going to go ahead and launch that poll for you. If you could just kind of give us some input. You know, have you participated in the service unit team webinars over the last several months? And then, of course, in the question log, if you have not participated, but you would like more information or want to be involved at that level, feel free to make a note there so we can ensure that you are included. And then also, if you have any other ideas for how to communicate well, please include that. All right, well, we're up to about 73% of you have participated in the poll, so I'm going to go ahead and close the poll. And then we'll just share those results. So you could see that really there's many of you on the call who have not yet participated in those webinars. And so I really do encourage your participation, hoping that we're opening the lines of communication, having a much more inclusive way of work, and that we move together as a team. So one of the great ways to do that, is to plug in and get involved at that level. But again, please feel free to provide any feedback or, any ideas that you might have on how we can be better at that. So, okay, I think we have a question real quick. So, Laura, thank you. She said, would like more info for the webinars, didn't know they existed, would also love an actual training class just for the specific service unit team training positions. And so I think the vision, that's good to hear and to know, and I think the vision around that too is making sure that that's an ongoing kind of, not something that we do a training when you're new and then we think that that's good forever, but rather opening some dialogue and communication and having touch points along the way as part of that development and learning and sharing best practices and that sort of thing is kind of the vision. So that's good to have your encouragement around that. And then Kim said, would like to attend, but sometimes I'm not off work yet. When we're doing the webinars, I was using the phone earlier and cannot see things and can only listen as long as I'm driving and not with patients. Well, first of all, thank you. Please concentrate on the road. We don't want any Girl Scout webinar accidents out there happening, but just keep in mind too, Kim, that all of our calls are recorded, and if you're not getting a copy of the recordings, your CME can get those out for you. I will admit that sometimes it takes me longer than I want it to get the recording published and out. I do try hard to do that well, and I can improve on it, but your CME, your staff person, can get you a copy of that, or certainly if you email Barbara or I, we can make sure that you're on the list as well, because they are recorded.
And if you register for the webinar and something comes up and you can't attend, the nice thing is that you will get that automatic email with the webinar or with the recording information.
Absolutely.
So always a good thing to register.
Yeah, so we actually had like, goodness, I want to say, let me take a look here. We had 34 people who registered for this session tonight, and of those 34, 17 called in, but all 34 will get a direct email with the recording. So even if you aren't sure you can make it, if you register, that's a really great way to make sure that you're included. So I just realized too that we do have, actually we scheduled our call from 6 to 8 p.m. So we don't have to keep you on the line for 2 hours, most certainly. But really, I mean, that is the information that we wanted to provide to you. So unless you have any questions or dialogue or comments or feedback that you want to add in, anything that you want us to talk more about or go further in depth on right now, we're kind of at the end of our time together. And please make sure you do come to the rally, because that's where we are going to get much more deeper dive into all of these different things. And then if there is a service unit registrar in your service unit, please make sure that they're aware that tomorrow at both noon and 6, we have a webinar for the registrars. They don't have to come to both. The idea is they pick one or the other. We're just offering the same meeting 2 times tomorrow. And we have upwards of 40 people registered for both of those times. So it's going to be a robust group, and call and make sure that your registrar is aware. If any service unit directors are on the line with us this evening, naturally as the director in your unit, you're always welcome. But feel free to join us. Okay.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
All right. Thank you, and thank you for your encouraging words on the question log this evening, ladies. It does our heart well to know that you appreciate the support and that you are out there working hard at making sure Girl Scout thrives. So have a great evening.